Hello, everyone. Welcome to yet another exciting episode of TokeMoments. I know I'm tired of seeing your comments on every post. It's like I actually want to particularly appreciate my YouTube family because when I think about the entire TM brand, it has different faculties and departments. You know, there's TM on TikTok, there's TM on Instagram, there's TM on the radio, there's TM on television, and of course, there's my YouTube family. Just doing this video actually makes me very, very, very teary-eyed. And I know you guys are like, oh, Toka, you always abandon us and you treat us, with the least respect. And I am sorry. This year has been quite a year. This is one episode that before I go further, I want you to pause, call your friends, call their friends, to call their own friends and their enemies and lovers and mothers and fathers and anyone who's ever watched a Toke moment before to tune in and watch this because you get why. It's very important. I remember when I started out, vlogging in Nigeria was something that wasn't even widely accepted. I was one of the people that just started with my computer. Shout out to this friend of mine who was in America and had found me out on the radio and just was interested in my career journey and my growth. And then he, showed me a picture of one YouTube star. I can't remember her name. I think Anastasia Bales. If that name is correct, I think that's her name. And she literally was one of the OG founders of vlogging on YouTube. And he had said to me that, why don't you start something like this in Nigeria? And only God knows why I decided to start talking about relationships because that was the setup that later on put me into trouble. But I think my very first video was how to get married Niger style, I think. Or maybe all men are crazy or some crazy shit that went viral and men were like, how can you say that? Yeah. And we're here today. There's been so many parts of TokeMoments. It's literally the evolution of TokeMoments. From that girl who, was on radio, who started vlogging, to the girl who had her entire life altered because I started talking about relationships and I got married and my relationship was now the most talked about thing in town. I never for one came out to say that I had a perfect relationship. Well, I guess me Wednesday, coming out and speaking on relationships, I didn't realize that my own home was on fire. And you guys saw me through finding out, about my marriage and how it ended. You can see all the press out there. This episode is particularly emotional for me because 10 years ago, I literally had my life. I mean, for everyone who sees headlines and who sees me and who has an idea who I am or who doesn't, so many things have been said about me in the press, and I think one of the most painful and most just nerve-wracking things that have ever happened to me in my life is just watching that part of my life play out the way it did. I'm over it and I'm not crying because of that. But just last night, knowing I was going to be chatting with you guys today, I was doing my night prayers and for some reason I thought about that season. Oh, gosh. I'm just going to break the news to you guys. The reason why I've been away so much this year has been such a... I'm not one to cry on the internet because I abuse people who cry on the internet. I literally talk about why are they crying, but it's with so much joy that I feel like I owe you guys this much because you guys have been with me through every single journey that I've taken on YouTube, through going through a divorce, through finding myself again, through, just radio, television, and this even becoming the podcast that it is. And on the podcast today, I really want to share with you guys that I'm about to be a mom. I'm pregnant, guys. Oh my God. People don't even provide tissue for me. What kind of people do I work with, Jerry? Why are you people so wicked? Now, this episode is brought to you guys by One Wellness Center. Let's talk about what I just shared with you. This is a lot to dump on you guys. TM, the baby girl for life, Tokestar, is about to be a mother. I'm about to be a mom, guys. It's so crazy. So when I was turning 30, one of my biggest prayer requests again, when I say this, is not to put pressure on people out there, because I know that, a lot of people see me as a role model, and when I say something, they really want to live the way I live, which is great and which makes me smile sometimes. But it's okay to have projections, have dreams, have ambitions, and have things that you think will happen in your life at a certain place or stage. And when I was turning 30, one of the biggest things, I remember at my 29th birthday, I had never wanted to be, or I never thought about marriage like that. I've never been one of those people that would talk about, oh my God, I want to get married, because it just was one of those things that I thought will happen when it's supposed to happen. But I remember 29, and I actually said to myself, it won't be bad for me to get married this year. Actually, I want to turn 30 in my husband's house. No pressure. That was just me. This is not to say that if you're 30 and not married, there's something wrong with you. This is me sharing my own journey with you, however that might sound. And turning 30, I did cut my cake in my husband's house. Thank you. I promise not to fall apart again. And, that was special, because I always refer to the fact that I did say it and the universe heard me. And, my 30s took a turn for what it's worth. He had a baby on me. The marriage ended. And I literally had to start over again to build my life all over again. And building my life, I wrote a book. I started businesses. I took my career seriously. I focused on me. And so at some point, if you had told me 5 years ago that I'll be sat here today, here pregnant and sharing this news with you guys like this, I would have probably laughed, because I was busy chasing my career and it was not something that I really thought about. But turning 40, I remember saying to myself at 39, 29, I walked into my 30s more confident than at 39. 39, I had become this woman, this business owner, this brand. And I felt like I'd spent so much. The only thing that was working for me in my life was my work. Literally, my work was on fire. Every other thing, I've been in a couple of relationships. And popular belief out there is that I bash men, I hate men. It's never been the truth. I'm a hopeless romantic. I've always been. But even as a hopeless romantic, I will call out anything that I find foul, because that's just who I am, right? So turning 40 for me, I did the video where I even said my status out, turning 40, childless and unmarried. It was one of the journeys that I had to go on last year, just accepting what it was. And I wasn't desperate for marriage, because marriage for me is something that if it happens, is great. I have been in quite a number of relationships, and I've learned things from each relationship, and it's not all good and it's not all bad. It's not all in between. It's just what it is. But one of the things I said to myself turning 40 was I wanted to become a mom, and I wanted to possibly give marriage another shot. And I remember starting the year, and I did Hallelujah Challenge, guys. If I tell you that I've done Hallelujah Challenge before, but this particular Hallelujah Challenge last year, January, February, I remember thinking to myself, you have to do what you've never done to get from God what you've never gotten. Again, don't blame me, guys. This video is going to cover so many things, so let me just rush on so we don't leave anything behind. I grew up in a CAC background. I went to MFM, and MFM is a great church. I always tell people it's a church for warfare. There's different parts of our spirituality, right? There's reading the word, there's praying, there's warfare, and there's nothing wrong with that. But I think what that had done to me at some point is to almost believe that I was in a transactional relationship with God, where you feel like, in order to, these are what I want, these are the things I want. I'd written it down. I'd even written down that October 25th, I wrote the date down. I wanted that date to be, my registry, and I wanted to be with a cute bomb. I'd called T.Y. Bello, shout out to T.Y. Bello, and I paid her for a photo shoot because I was turning 40, and I said, my 40th birthday, I said, agree with me, it's going to be a maternity shoot. And of course, we prayed and she agreed. Yeah, I'm a spirit girl. Forget what you see online. I sabi Bible, I sabi God. So, that started, and I did something that I have never done before. I sewed. I did something. I can't. One day I would share that with the world, but I took something that was precious to me and I sold it. And I thought to myself, I'm not going to touch this money. I'm going to give it straight to Hallelujah Challenge because we were raised to believe, you hear different sermons, give your tithe, do this, do that. Which there's nothing wrong with. Don't think I'm condemning that too. But I'm telling you that my own journey had become very transactional with God, where I felt like all it would take for him to do this for me is for me to sow in this season like I've never sown before. And I did. I think I called my sister and she was the only one I told. And I said, I'm going to do this. And she's like, may he honor your faith. And that was that. I remember going through the year and trying at, becoming a mom. And I tried twice and it just wasn't happening for me. I launched TM Beauty in the middle of a depression. People did not know that I was depressed. You literally see me out at those activations, laughing, excited, jumping, but my soul was empty. I was tired. I was tired of believing and hoping and having to be betrayed. I mean, people will look at us as entertainers and people who you think you have our lives figured out, and they're not things that we want to happen for us. Because to the world at large, I was doing it. I had my own signature perfume brand. My career is on fire. I'm shooting movies. I'm traveling the world. Literally, I've got it all together. But I didn't share the fact that I had, a couple of failed attempts of trying to be a mom. And I remember this particular tweet where somebody tweeted at me. I don't know how they found out my personal business, but the person wrote that tweet online that this is why your 2 IVFs had failed. Nothing has caught me in my life as much as that tweet. Jesus, I'm not crying because you motherfucker don't deserve my tears. But it made me go back to God and say, look at me. I've become the person that people are now terming barren. On Snapchat, you post this, people are like, don't go and born. I just wish you go and have a baby. Just do this. And I'm like, just because I haven't sat with a ring light and told you guys how I tried and it did not work, how I got disappointed on this journey, because I didn't want to talk about it, but that was happening behind the scenes. I stopped praying. I stopped going to church. I had totally given up. I was like, yeah, this is no, even if you talked about God around me, I was so cynical. I'll just be like, yeah, whatever. They're like, yeah, okay. And that went on for months. I remember one particular Sunday morning, I've never shared this. I know this is going to make the blogs, but you know what? When God comes through for us, it's not just for us. It's for us to share with other people who are also in the wait, who can draw strength from us and believe that if he came through for this person, surely he can do it for them. I woke up one Sunday morning and my driver wasn't around and I was driving to church. And I got behind the wheel and I drove to after Aja, and I did not realize I'd been bawling. And I snapped back into myself and I realized I'd passed Second Toll Gate, I'd passed Chevron, how did I get here? I had to pull myself together and then turn around. Church service had ended because I'd been driving for like 2 hours or 2.5 and I did not realize. At that point, I knew that my mental health was going through it. I remember saying to God, I think it was at one of the events when we launched my perfume. And on my way, I was like, why don't you just call me home now? The praise is the loudest. My name is in lights. I've done it, I've built my dreams. Looking back from where I came, I didn't even think that my life would be this good. You can just put us both out of this misery and call me home. Now would be a perfect time to go, right? I can come and shine shoes in heaven. Like, I had talked about it to that point and people around me did not know. I didn't tell anyone that I had those thoughts. I remember going to bed. I've lost the month's track right now, but I know this must have been between July. I moved to Abuja briefly to film for Glamour Girls, and I was on 3 movie projects at the same time. And I remember this, that's why I wasn't shooting the vlog, because I was actually empty. I was running on empty. I had nothing to share with you guys. I was angry at the world, angry at God, and I just did not want to exist for one more day. But my phone will ring, my manager, you have to do this, you have to do that, you have to do this post, you have to do that. I have to pull my outward appearance again and be like, okay, smile in the face of cameras and just get that shit done, right? And when you get home and turn off the lights, it's just you. So I remember waking up I'd stopped praying, I'd stopped talking to God. And I remember waking up, I think this was in July. But at this point, all my family members had meetings of, your 40th, what are we doing? And I remember saying to one of them that if God has chosen not to answer me, I'm not going to celebrate any birthday till he answers me. 40 will come, 41, 42, nothing. Let me just let the day pass and not even do anything, right? And I remember my sisters in the living room in London saying, you can't do that. Everybody has what is doing them. You cannot say that. You're alive. You're healthy. You're successful. You're beauty brand. And they just wouldn't get it, right? Because I'm there thinking, I hear you guys, but I'm not interested. Before that, I think TY called me in June, wanting to follow up with our dates to say, hey, what's going on? We have these shoots for the 40th. And I remember I picked up the phone at 7 a.m. in the morning. And I just burst into tears. And I said, I'm not doing it. I had contacted Funke Bokno. I had planned to do like an Owambe 40th. We had even gotten the Ankaras ready to ship that I was going to share with people. And when that IVF failed, the last one that failed, I was just like, I cannot do this anymore. Cancelled all the plans, told Funke Bokno. I even stopped responding. FBO called me. I just stopped responding to her. TY Bello, I told in the morning that, yeah, it's not going to happen. You hold on to the cash. I don't want it back. Whenever I want to shoot something, maybe I'll come to you and we'll do it. And she's prayed and spoke life into me for 2 hours, just praying on the phone, saying, you will do it. You will take these pictures. You will do this. You will do that. And I was just like, yeah. Little do you know that I'm not really fucking with your God right now. So just pray. When you finish, drop the phone, go. But you get my message, huh? Hold on to that cash. When I need it, I'm going to call your ass up and be like, okay, that money I paid for that shoot, when can we shoot it? Whatever we're going to shoot, we'll shoot, right? And I dropped the phone and carried on. So I was supposed to go to Abuja, and I was supposed to move to Abuja for the next 2-3 months. I remember this was June. My birthday is in November. So this is between June, July, August. I was in Abuja till I think September, right? But I'll come in every week because I was doing Big Brother. So I would fly, you guys, my life last year. Last year, I would take a flight to Abuja. I was filming for Big Brother on Monday, I think. Tuesdays. So I would take the last flight from Abuja Monday nights to show up in Ikeja, go straight to the studio, film the bus, leave after the bus, back to the airport and fly to Abuja to be on set that night. But you know what? People thought I was owing rent. Why are you working so hard? That was the only way I was staying alive. Everything around me was not working. I don't want to be in any relationship. I was done. Like, guys, just leave me alone. I'm fighting God. I don't pray to him anymore. Several times on the plane, when they be like, I used to be so afraid of flying locally. I became a G that if this is how you want to take me, I'm ready. Okay. I even knew the routes between Lagos and Abuja. I knew where the turbulence was. I know when you pass Oyo. I know when the plane starts because I've done it every single week. I was like, this is my life. So, but before I left Lagos, I went to bed. And I don't know how people hear from God, right? But this was very, very, very important. I woke up and it seemed like there had been somebody in that room with me, right? And I blotted out the words, time is a concept that I own and you are not going to wrestle this one out of me. And I opened my eyes and I said, time is a concept that I own. You're not going to wrestle this one out of me. And I knew instantly what it meant. I knew that I had come to the end of myself and God was telling me, if you like, donate your kidney, your lungs, your eye, your ear. I will do it when I want to do it. It's not about you. I think that journey for me last year was to let go of the control that I thought that, I could control my life. I could do this. I could wake up in the morning and just predict what my life was going to be like and say, this is how this is going to work. And that had been me for a couple of years. It was very transactional. You pray, you believe, you pray, you fast, you give to the poor, you do alms. Clearly, God will come through for you, right? So after that episode, I started praying again. I don't know how, but maybe it was me sitting on the window seat and just looking out into the clouds and seeing how magnificent God is and thinking, wow, the creator of the universe made all of this beauty. I just found myself again where I started praying again, right? And I did something different this time around. I said I wasn't going to ask you for anything. And I called TY and I'm like, yeah, I think I'll be ready in August. Let's do the photo shoot. She booked down the date. And I said, I'm going to celebrate my 40th birthday. But before I have a party or go away, I wanted to do a Thanksgiving service, which is what happened in October last year, October 25th. Till now, people do not understand why I decided to do that Thanksgiving service. And I had never talked about it till this very moment. But I remember sitting in my room in Abuja and saying, you know what? I'm actually going to take that date that I thought was going to be a significant day in my life, and I'm going to dress like my testimony. And I'm going to dance into that hall and dance like David danced, because in my lifetime, I get to praise you. This is not about me saying, if I do this, I'm hoping for you to do this for me in return. I didn't even let go of it. I was not bothered anymore. I was like, okay, let's get into planning. Let's do it big. Let's do Thanksgiving. Let's get some artists. Let's, let's just do it big. And let's, I'm turning 40. I'm a body at 40. Yeah. I was excited. I wasn't even thinking about, what if it doesn't happen? What if it did? I literally come to the end of myself and I said, oh, die and I die. Do you understand? At this point, life is for the living. Let me just enjoy myself. And then I went into planning. I remember the day of the photo shoot. I remember after the shoot when we did a prayer and I cried because everybody showed up for me. All my inner circle, all my friends showed up because they knew it was going to be a tough day, because what I thought was going to be happening on that day was not happening anymore, right? So I was like, okay, cool. We took the pictures that were fabulous, moved on. Thanksgiving came. I shared my journey with the world. And I remember the next morning just saying, I'm just thankful that I got to do this in my lifetime. It doesn't matter what happens after. And I got this attitude of, I'm not going to ask God for anything anymore. I'm just going to live in gratitude. I'm just going to change my attitude towards prayer. I'm not praying to get things from you. I'm just praying just to really just befriend you. I just want to be your friend. I just want us to be cool. Because I'm tired of being the Christian that when things are good, we're good. When things are bad, I'm like, I beg. I don't know if there's I beg, So I committed to that journey, and that was that. I remember going away. We went to Tenerife. I had an amazing 40th birthday, and I wasn't thinking. I was having the best time of my life. December, I was looking forward to, I'm just going to enjoy myself. The last thing on my mind was this. I was just like, you know what? Whatever. We got back from Tenerife, and I remember talking to my doctor, and we're just catching up. And, my doctor has become my friend, because he was just saying to me, you can't, just be thankful, enjoy your life, take the time off, enjoy yourself. Don't think about this, And we're down to one more option. And I remember us talking about it, and I said, should we try one more time? Let's just try. And he goes, are you sure you can handle it? And I'm like, you know what? No problem. Let's try. So, of course, I committed to getting my body ready and trying. And I remember the day that I stepped out of the shower at the beginning of, I think we're back at the end of November. So beginning of December, I was committed to saying, okay, I'll try this again. And I remember thinking to myself, I said a prayer. I said, if I'm not doing this because I did a Thanksgiving or committing or asking you, but if you're on this journey with me, grant me success. And if you're not, let's work this out, God. I'm tired of being a Christian who breaks down when the vehicle is not working. I'm tired of being the Christian who breaks down when there's bad news. I just want you to give me the grace to still carry on and have a good Christmas, regardless of what the hospital says or what the reports will be. I just want to go ahead and just have a great Christmas, right? And just enjoy myself. So the strength I would need to recover from, will come from you. But let's just carry on. And I didn't think about it. I was just like, okay, I'm just going to have fun. And then I remember on the 17th, getting a call that changed my life. That was the call. Once I saw my doctor calling me, I was just like, he's calling to give me bad news. Because the morning of the 17th, I had said to myself that, okay, today might go left. If it goes left, I'm only praying for grace to just carry me through, this season, because Christmas is coming and I don't want to be down and depressed at Christmas. But what this means is that I'm down to square one, literally having to start again. But I didn't want to explore looking at my glass as halfway empty, right? And, I got the call and my doctor, my guy is like, where are you? I'm like, I'm home. Just break the news to me. It didn't work, right? And he said, are you sat down? And I said, yes, because I'm looking at your results. We have a strong, positive yes. Nobody could have prepared me for that moment. And the beautiful thing, why I told you guys all this story to get here? At the start, I told God, I want to turn 40 a mom. I turned 40 in November. He did it in December. Like, he didn't fail. God is never late, He just didn't do it the way I thought it was going to happen. Because if he had, what's the joy? That Thanksgiving could have been, hey guys, I'm pregnant, I'm married. It will be expected. And what I'll be telling people is, I sowed. And because I sowed, God honored my faith. And that's not what he wanted, because that is very transactional. He took me on a journey and he did not skip a beat. In December, I'm not 41 yet. I'm 40 and I'm a mom. Like, if that doesn't send chills down your spine, I don't know what else will. So I don't know what you're waiting for, how you're waiting. I don't want to spiritualize every aspect, because I know that there are people that don't want kids, and that's fine. This video might not be for you, but still rejoice with me. That's great. Like, not everybody's meant to be a mom, and I agree. Like, I'm not here to preach that to you. But if you desire motherhood, however you desire it, gone were the days when people would tell us things like a woman's window is short, and Yorubas quickly say, Ile obinrin o kin pe su. I heard that growing up so many times. And I used to be like, who made the rules? Who said that? But science has really, really, really improved. There are different ways that you can, and different routes and routes, if that's what you're going to call it, that you can take to achieving it if this is what you want. I feel like people need to be more opened in their mind, because sometimes we think we've come so far, but we're yet to still travel a mile or two, and be open to conversations where, it doesn't have to be how you think it's going to happen, right? There's various ways. And shout out to the good people at One Wellness Center. However you want to begin your journey to motherhood, they have got your back, right? They have all different sorts of options for you. Women, please resist the urge to say to yourself that the night time of a woman is very, very early. Yeah, somebody will be like, oh, you don't have to wait till you're 40, which I agree, because at the end of the day, science is science, right? I will only advise that maybe when you turn 30, one of the things you can think about if you want to pursue your career, which is great, or start a business and do other things, is to freeze your eggs. Like, I cannot even stress that enough. Freezing of eggs is very important. I know nobody wants to get poked every day. The process of injecting yourself is tough, and everybody wants to just lay on the ground and perform coitus and hear that they are pregnant. For some people, that's how it happens, and it's great. For some others, there might be a little bit of an extra push. So I know a lot of people have been told things like, oh my God, the nighttime of a woman is always upon you. Women don't have that much of a choice. This, that. I would say freeze your eggs if you want to get on the journey at any point in your life. Just do it while you still can, and while you can still get viable eggs is important, right? I would advise between the ages of 27 and 35, because after 35, that shit is real about the egg, count dropping. It is. But even if the egg counts have dropped, I can tell you today, people have donor eggs. There's different ways. Adoption is also an option, right? Like, it's not, there are many kids who are looking for a home and whatever. I feel like we should just be more open to, talking about these things, right? And, that's why I thought it was very important to share this, apart from the fact that you guys have been with me on this journey. I think that, for someone out there who is thinking, okay, I'm going to begin to think about freezing my eggs or whatever, you can check out One Wellness Center on Instagram. They are One Wellness WH. They have various options that it can give to you. But guys, what are we going to... Sorry. What are we going to do? I can't wait to actually... Hey, God. Hey, God. What am I going to do with the child? Am I serious enough to be a mommy? When I bring out this... Do you guys want me to do an episode with my child? That's going to be crazy. What kind of mom am I going to be? Is it a he? Is it a she? Would my child like me? People who have been pregnant before, do you guys have those questions before you met your baby? People always look at me like I'm crazy. Is it a weird question to ask? Am I the only one who's had a baby in this room? Okay, Shay's here. But were you worried? Did you think that, I hope this fella or this lady likes me? I hope my child will look at me and be like, that's my mom? It's a major flex. Imagine getting to school and telling your friends, TM is my mommy. Hey. Any might be more. Dun, 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 go here for more. That was the song that I used to sing every day. I don't know who sent it to me. And I used to sing it every day and I'll be dancing and thinking, wow, what a marvelous God he is. God is good, y'all. I can't even lie. Like I've always shared every part of my life and I'm not going to shy away from his goodness. He's just been amazing. This was how he let me know that he was on this journey with me. And I shot a movie at the early parts. It's been just short of, the ride has been the ride, but I'll say he's been faithful. He's been with me all through it. I still can't believe it. Guys, the girl who started with a laptop is now bringing forth life. You know, people will say to you that, oh, yes, is it your business you eat at night? Will your business hold you at night? You have to find a man. Why won't you go and give birth? Jesus, at some point on every post, you won't go and born. Go and born. Go and born. Now, guess what? God pass all of you. You know, if he send me to go and born, I don't get pikin. Ha! Hey, God. Wow. I know this is going to go on different blogs. Sometimes I wish I could just have this conversation with you guys on YouTube and let it just end here. Because you guys get it, right? Because then they will now chop it up and make it seem like, oh my God, Toke sent memo to all I hate that she don't born. If the shoes fit, wear it. Thank you all so much. I'd like to really give a shout out to everyone who's ever watched an episode. In the middle of all the people who have said negative things about me, there have been people who have prayed for me. There have been messages I have gotten that have shared wellness with me, that have spoken life into my bones and have really encouraged me. And to those people, I really want to say thank you. I do pray that in every area of your life, you will find help, you know, because I've had amazing people come up to me. They don't want to, you know, be rude or anything, but they just be like, oh, it would be nice for you to give us a little TM or, you know, whatever. We've watched you evolve in every area of your career, which is deep, you know. Watched me from radio, when I started the vlogging, when I got on television, when I launched my businesses, when I wrote a book, when I started the podcast. You guys have been there. And I'm so happy that God has kept all of us alive to the point where you watch me also move into another phase of my life, which is called motherhood, guys. I'm sorry if I get missing again. Understand, it's for a good reason. The next time you guys see me, it's so emotional. Maybe I'll bring my kid to work. All right, I think I can sign off now. I'm becoming a nuisance. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you so much, Lord. And I truly, 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 truly hope and pray for every woman who desires this blessing. I truly wish and I pray, if you desire it, that it will be yours. And it won't just come. The good Lord will provide a means for you to take care of the gifts He's sending to the world. Because people are stressed with trying to try different options and have a baby, and the baby comes and they're finding people finding how to beg people to. You will never beg to raise your own legacy in the name of Jesus. And I say that because I'm a Jesus girl, as good as I'm a baddie, and I'm still a TV presenter, and I can still break it down. This part of my life was very important, and it was important that I did this. Today, do you know the struggle it took to wear makeup, to pencil my face, to make sure that I know that my chest is looking full, but I think I still got it. I think you can use MILF to describe me, right? Tell all those your uncles to leave my DM. I'm not interested. Oh my God. Honestly, should I tell you guys about how I found love even in pregnancy? Okay, another story. Another time. But yeah, I ain't missing nothing. Oh my God, that's going to be another headline. Why did I say that? Just say that I'm being kept and loved and appreciated. Bye, guys. Thank you guys for watching. Please remember to subscribe to my YouTube channel. And of course, I can't wait to see you guys again. Right now, should I become one of those annoying people that will say, I'm only going to be referred as Mama something? I don't know. I'll think about it. Don't worry. There'll be many videos that will be shared here. I would share my gender reveal with you guys. I'll share many things with you guys. When I find out what I'm having, you guys would know. I'm going to carry you guys along. I promise. I'm not going to abandon you guys. And then we can now vote on a nickname on how I want to be addressed. Because guess what? I'm still a baby girl for life. It's just going to be not Mama for... No, you can't call me Mama for life. That's so raz. Ew. What can we say? MILF for life. Why can't I say MILF? Tell me that you're not attracted to me right now. They're laughing at me. All the guys in the studio, am I not still attractive? Are you guys kidding? Forever, ever. So I'll be working on how I want you guys to address me going forward. But until then, just know that, this is where I've been your way. And all your well wishes I received. Thank you so much. Okay, I'm going to shut up now because I think that I can drag myself home right now and rest. I've done it. I've gotten this out of the way. Guys, shout out to the great people at One Wellness Center. Thank you guys for sponsoring this episode. I think this was a marriage that was just perfect, right? Because they are also about fertility. And this is my journey that I've shared with you guys today. Mwah. Goodbye.